What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I am Josh Mabry. I'm obviously here with my tag team partner in this journey, known as the Wrestling Biz, Justin Toner. Justin, how are we doing today?
Doing good. All kinds of stuff happening. Interesting fallout from last week's head-to-head with NXT and Dynamite. It's Tony's going off on Twitter saying things that probably shouldn't be making comments he probably shouldn't have made. But it's like,
yeah,
like Jericho said. Well, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. He's gonna say what he's gonna say. It's like can't get him to change his mind.
A couple of rumors have come out about why he made those comments, but I'll get to it and lump it in with Chris Jericho's comments that came out today. Right now, it's all about the game. Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the Endeavor called? Is it Endeavor? Endeavor's playing.
TKO and
Yeah. So basically, Ari Emanuel came out, and this is kind of like a duh. This is probably going to happen. As soon as all the signings were done and all the legalities of it, and if it was finalized, Ari was just like, "All right, Vince, thanks, but no thanks.
It's like Vince, please stop looking over Triple H's shoulder and mucking around with stuff. It's like let the man have the kitchen and cook."
Yeah, of course he's basically like every other wrestling fan. Like, he sees what we see.
Yeah.
So on there, but just kind of go in a little bit of detail about what all exactly transpired, and then I'll kind of give my thoughts on Vince McMahon's never going to go down without a fight based on interviews that I've seen, kind of how he handles these type of situations. Obviously, he's one of the greatest American businessmen of our generation that we've seen. So he knows what he's doing even in his 70s, and plus he wants to live to be like, he thinks he's going to live to 120. But I don't doubt the man. He comes out on top every time, except for right now. So just kind of go into the specifics, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of reports came out from Frightful and other people, like Sean Rossap, that as you probably noticed, things have been really cooking lately with WWE on the weekly programming and for the most part the pay-per-views, outside of a few exceptions. And word is that Ari Emanuel, head of Endeavor, who bought out WWE to merge it with UFC into under the TKO umbrella, has made the call to say, "Yo, Vince, stop fucking with Triple H and creative." He apparently made the call to say, "No, Vince, please stop sticking your nose in and mucking around. I was, when it's broke, you don't fix it." So it's like, he's letting Triple H have the kitchen and he's letting him cook, which is the way it should be. And we've seen the results before about how the product improved before Vince came back and started meddling with stuff, and especially like one of the most infamous examples was the Raw after WrestleMania, which reportedly that he had was very heavy-handed in making changes, and we saw the result, which was not good.
Yeah, you saw that video of somebody took of Seth visibly just pissed because they basically cut it. He came out and then they cut his segment, so it was just weird.
Yeah. Which is not surprising because recently he's quoted as a dip in the stock market value of the company was because of Vince. He straight out said it because of Vince's legal issues. Some have been settled, others are still ongoing. The government's still looking into them. So it's like he knows. So this is a way of like, okay, Vince. It's like, just move off to the side a little bit here, and which he can do because Vince is not in control anymore. He's got a large stake in the company, but he doesn't have the majority stake. Ari Emanuel is the guy at top now, and what he says goes. And if he says leave Triple H and creative alone, then Vince has no choice but to obey. And if he because he doesn't have the ability to object. So this is all good news, really. I mean, Triple H is not perfect. Nobody is, but he makes a lot of good creative decisions, and he continues to make a lot of good creative decisions. I mean, and you can see the results on TV. I mean, some people still wish, like me, that Raw was not like 3 hours long, but Raw is no longer the all right, let's fast forward to the good stuff anymore. There's a lot of good stuff on Raw, and it's like I'm not really fast forwarding if I don't watch it live. So that's testament to Triple H building good storylines and angles that are going on, and it's the fact that you can see it for the attendance. I mean, the attendance is very good right now for all the weekly shows and the pay-per-views.
The live shows are doing really well too.
Oh yeah, that's why I've also heard that live show attendance is also up a bit too. So it's like, because they got the star power these days too. Anyway, so
it's weird when you build up multiple stars, you draw more people. It's not just, Roman's not going to be there, I'm not going to be there. Or back when John Cena, which John Cena was looking back at it, even though booking decisions, blah blah blah, but you made a couple of stars, and then you're wondering why your attendance was down. Because if that one or two people weren't there, you weren't drawing that gate.
Right.
Now you have multiple people, and you can draw a gate with because they're like, I like that person, and I like this person, and I like this person, because they're giving other multiple people time to connect with the audience, to have multiple people instead of just four, like a big 4 or 5 core people. And if they're not at the live show, no one's gonna go.
Right. Yeah. So this is very welcome news, and it makes sense for the way things have been going lately. It feels less and less that Vince is interfering. So this was basically SRS and others confirming that Ari Emanuel has made sure that Vince is no longer coming in at the last minute making changes, because that pisses a lot of people off and messes up the flow of the show. So it's like, so he gets it. Thank you. Thank God.
2 things about this news. One, kind of funny that I just kind of realized how Degeneration X went from degenerates to running the company. That's kind of funny.
I mean,
kind of worked out.
Yeah,
as far as creative, not the company in whole, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels runs NXT now, and he's turned NXT around. It took him a while, but he's got NXT is. It's not like I've said, it's not like the mind-blowing, awesome Black and Gold era when Triple H was running it for several years, but it's much better and it's much more entertaining, and that's a testament to. It took Shawn a while to figure things out, but it's gotten to a really good place and is very entertaining. So he's got that going. Triple H is running everything else. So.
And plus, it just took time. It took, Shawn was basically learning how to book a show. He was just a producer, he just kind of came back because, Triple H was like, hey, Shawn, why don't you just come back, chill out. And I know X-Pac came back a few times, just had him, and then he's doing his own thing now.
Yeah,
but
Road Dogg is back there working behind the scenes as well.
Right. So it's just kind of the long form storytelling is how the Generation X went from being you all suck, and then now they're the corporate guys that are running the show. It's
it took a while for Shawn to grow into the role of running NXT. It's like the 2.0 era was definitely the growing pains of him learning how to do this stuff, and because it's like. It happened, and it was kind of like thrust upon him when Triple H had his heart issue, and that led him to finally no longer be involved in NXT at all, and now he's and plus now it's like his responsibility is to make sure the main product is on flow, and Shawn is like, all right, I got this, Shawn, NXT is all yours now. It's like, I trust you. And he's been delivering. So
no, it's good stuff there. The only thing that I worry about, and this kind of goes back to like people that are lifelong coaches and stuff like that, is like Vince is a workaholic. That's just what he is. And the fact, if you take the thing that he's cared about, eat, sleep, breathe, and other than working out, this is all he did, was just do creative, do all this. You're like, just basically this was it. I worry about his mental capacity. Say what you want about the person.
Mhm.
He's given us so many great memories, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done for us. He's overstayed his time, just like any other coach or anything like that.
Yeah, and also a lot of the stuff that's come out about how he's conducted himself in his personal life is
Right.
is quite disgusting.
That being said, I still worry about, if they're really going to force him out, which he's not going to go down without a fight, but because he even come out on I think it was on McAfee a couple of years ago, leading into WrestleMania where McAfee went against Theory.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, that he basically he thrives on controversy, and kind of went through
Or was
how
it last year?
uh
Yeah, and
2 years ago,
I think
because 2 WrestleManias ago, I
I
guess.
think they're keeping him busy with the working out who's is Raw and NXT going to stay on USA as well, or are they going to go elsewhere? Is
Okay.
because the SmackDown going back to USA for big money, that's done.
Okay.
The only question is, where is Raw and NXT also going to stay on USA network with NBC Universal, or is someone else going to shell out the money for those shows to move off the network?
Okay.
So he's probably all over that. So that'll probably keep that's probably going to keep him busy.
And just the way the report is, it seemed like Ari just basically was like, "Nah, Vince, just stay away from everything."
Yeah.
Which I mean, and the thing is, like, Nick Khan is doing, because at first you thought Nick Khan was just ruining everything, because as soon as they brought him in, he was and then you realize going through the weeds, like, no, he's actually pretty smart at what he does. Because he really doesn't give a crap about creative. And they just brought in, did all the budget cuts and cut a bunch of people. Realized that Vince only really just wants a roster of like 15 people. Just comes back to me. Maybe Nick was making the right business decisions, but that's what you do when you bring a person like him in, is to kind of trim the fat on there. And but I think Nick is more doing, like, he's obviously he's making the right decisions as far as like ads and where to put the ads, even though they're like right in your face. He's still selling major, like, trailer, like, movies and Mountain Dew and stuff like that typically, I remember back in the Attitude Era, it's like, this is brought to you by Stacker 2. I'm like, we're dealing with Mountain Dew now. Stacker 2 was fine, but I just remember, like, those type of, they weren't being able to sell high brand, like big market brands, and now they are with that. But I just wonder how much Ari is letting Vince do anything now that he's pretty much given up. Well, he only has 13% control or 13% stake now in Endeavor. I forget what this percentage is. It was under 50, or it was under. I thought it was around 30 to 13. It was like some real low percentage that he has. Like, as far as like, and I think that but he's still on the board, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still on the board and everything. It's like, so it's like he's still got a lot to say, but it's like he's not the boss anymore.
Right. Yeah.
They all answer to Emmanuel and the heads of Endeavor. So it's like,
gotcha.
So yeah, no, this is welcome news, and it's like keep Vince out of the kitchen, let Triple H go.
Yeah. And then anything else on Triple H running basically the Degeneration X running the show? Basically,
I think also thing that's helped is that Triple H, whoever he's got as far as like other writers and creative, I think are doing a much better job than they used to be. And also what helps is that he's got a great team of producers behind the scenes. Jamie Noble, Shane Helms, Abyss, Nick Aldis now, guys who have shown that they really understand how to put matches together.
Right. Bobby Roode.
Now they got Rude, and Adam Pearce is also, Adam Pearce, Tyson Kidd. They got a lot of good guys behind the scenes who are putting or know how to put matches together, and it shows. Because some of the matches on Raw lately on TV have been quite excellent for TV matches. Within the constraints of the TV time frame. So it's like you can tell. So they're definitely contributing to the improvement of the TV product for sure.
And it comes the old saying: you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't do everything. You will lead from the front, and you take hand up. It's on you at the end of the day as the head coach. But if you don't have a good support staff, then the ship is just you have to have your mates there to make sure the ship runs at the right and goes in the right direction. You just can't just be running everything. Someone's got to get there to all those all the boat analogies. Just think of. I can't. I don't know enough boat terms.
Yeah,
I'm not good with the nautical jargon. So moving on, I do want to touch on the Chris because the comments about Chris Jericho, and then we'll get to the top 10, which was really cool about that. So I just want to share the screen here of the Jericho, and then I will also we'll kind of touch on why Tony went crazy with his comments. Whether or not you think that's true, because it's kind of like a rumor thing, but I think that's kind of what it is. But yeah, here's Chris Jericho basically said he finally came out today and spoke about, gave his 2 cents on the NXT AEW clash. And it was kind of what you were talking about last week. It's like, because again, I'll read the quote and then I'll kind of go into like, it's basically saying what we said last week when it happened. It was a little, it was a fun little, hey, F you AEW. I didn't even really worry about it. It was just an opportunity to stick it to us with stunt casting. I told Tony, well, if you want to fire back, bring Shaq and Snoop Dogg and those type of guys, Mike Tyson. But Tony didn't do that. We relied on our show and our guys and our girls, and that's the way it's always been for us. So don't get too far up your own ass because you didn't do that good of a job as far as crushing us, and our show was better than theirs, quite frankly. So it doesn't bother me. Which it depends on how you think about it. He also went on to say, basically at the end of the day, it was great for the fans, kind of what we said too.
Competition is between them is good for everybody, which is what we agree.
And it depends on how you view what you like in wrestling. It's kind of semantics as far as like who had a better show. They obviously, we've said AEW puts on better matches because they give them time, and they honestly can. That's the only thing about the WWE, and they're getting really better. They're getting better at it because Triple H and Shawn Michaels are letting the thing that it's a wrestling show, and the fact that Vince McMahon for like the past 5 years, the one thing was missing was freaking wrestling.
Yeah,
they couldn't even say it until Triple H took over. He couldn't even say the word wrestling.
Yeah.
But anyway. And then also going back with Tony went scorched earth for like the past like week and a half, just calling out everybody. Turns out he was pissed about tampering, about contract tampering.
Yeah.
With people. And then because it came out today, I heard on Wrestle Talk. So just give them a shout out there. This that quote came from via the messenger instead at the bottom. So I do want to give props to everybody. I wanted to source everything for where I heard these things, or at least where I saw them. I don't know if Wrestle Talk where they got their source. Go watch their video. Wrestle Talk, WrestleTalk.com. It's also a YouTube channel as well. So obviously want to give props to them. I wish I had some insides on Dirt Sheet. We're not there yet, but one day we will. But right now, according to Wrestle Talk, basically he really struck a nerve when he was basically helping his mom out in the hospital, and that was when WWE really went after his talent because he was away handling his mother's illness. And yeah, that's as they say in the movie Hook, bad form, Peter. Or so that's why he went scorched earth, because that came out of nowhere that he was just scorched earth on everything.
Yeah, I like I said, I understand Tony being upset about that stuff, and that's understandable, but it's like shouldn't let it. He says it's personal, but he shouldn't let it get too personal, because then that's going to cloud his judgment.
It's not personal. It's business.
And plus the whole thing about Undertaker and Cena being watched by less than 1 million people. That seemed like grasping at straws kind of comment. It's like, just worry about your own product. It's like, I understand he wants to take some digs at WWE. It's like, but it's like, it's like, you don't let it get too personal, because it's not personal for Triple H and them. It's like it's business.
It's business. But I understand the tampering. But the thing is there's like with tampering when it comes to NBA and stuff, there's legality. There's legal people put in place to make sure that doesn't happen. It's carny business, man. It's still the Wild West if you really break it down to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
a $1 billion business now.
In place in it's in wrestling about contract tampering. It's like what they did was poor form. Yeah, it's like, was it illegal? Not technically, no. No, it's like there's a lot of gray area there. It's like it's This isn't, they're not, AEW and WWE are not under a big umbrella together, like sports teams are, whether it's NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball or whatever, where there are rules and regulations about, like, you cannot talk to, talent from another team. You can't do this, you can't do that. And it's like, same in college football too. So since they're not, they're competing against each other, it's like, there's a lot more gray area there. It's not like, oh, you can't do that. It's like, well, it wasn't, it wasn't, not the coolest maneuver to do it, but it's like, it's not 100% illegal what they were doing.
It's not. It's just, like I said, it's just bad form. Like,
it's bad form.
It's an unwritten rule that you don't do. But if you're not doing it, again, it's all about the game. And now Tony's playing. I mean, he's a cerebral assassin, all the things, like, but Triple H, I mean, that's the thing, is this is mainly the Clique taking over more than DX, because every documentary you see is just the reason the Clique got together is because they all just talked about business the whole time. And Triple H was the most sober one. So that's why he's probably at the head of it. So it's just kind of.
I mean, it's like, people like during when WCW was around, that people jump back and forth all the time. That Vince and Bischoff talked to people about, on either side, about their when their contracts were coming up, if they want to jump ship. It's like, it's one thing when the contract is about to expire or has expired. But like, when someone's like locked into a longer deal and you're trying to, like, be like, hey, do you want to come back? That's like, yeah, that's.
I just think he's a little, because I think he's losing. Because here's the thing. Here's my theory, and then we'll move on to the top 10, because it's an interesting top 10 from who's not on it. Typically, who who would be. Last thing is, for two superstars that we've been talking about. One's already at WWE. And one is we're about to say he's probably going to be there. So he lost Jade Cargill, which I think is a little bit of fault on. I think it's just the fact that Jade wants to go to WWE. Number two, I don't know if the booking was just off compared to the way he booked the other female. I mean, Jade's not in the top 10. Spoiler alert. Now, granted, she was out for a little bit, but she's not in the top 10. And another AEW star, two AEW wrestlers are. That if I don't know what that tells you, and also too, Ricky Starks. I think him and Tony got a good relationship, but it's a Cody thing, and also Ricky just came out today and trademarked a bunch of his stuff. So I don't know what that really means, because typically
when a wrestler trademarks certain stuff, that means that they want to make sure that they own that, and so they can use that no matter where they go. That I'm this ring name is trademarked to me, therefore I can use it if I go to WWE or AEW or whatever company I go to work for.
That's a dirt sheet thing. So I didn't see multiple sources. I just saw one source.
The Grizzled Young Veterans, now that their contracts with WWE or with, they're trademarking, they're going back to being the Grizzled Young Veterans. They went to copyright, the ring names that they used when they were the Grizzled Young Veterans, before they got transformed into the freaking dyad and got shafted, as far as I could say. I felt bad for him. That was one of the cases where, like, I totally understood the way they wanted out, because they were going nowhere. It was like,
and they're way better tag team than
they are. They deserved a lot better than what they were getting.
Yeah, I really would like to see them in AEW now. Hopefully, they're better than, like, I don't want them to.
The tag division in AEW is really crowded. They might end up maybe going to Impact or some other new places. Probably.
I'd like to see them in New Japan. See how they do some stuff there.
The NWA is a possibility, because the NWA has got a TV contract with the CW of all people.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I wasn't on.
Yeah, no, I just read about that today. Yeah, it's okay. Like they've secured a TV deal, so they're finally going to get off of the YouTube.
Well, I'm glad we went live today instead of yesterday, because it seems like 3 or 4 news bites came out today.
It's from F4. The Wrestling Observers was reporting it, that they've reportedly signed 2 TV deals with CW. One for their weekly show NWA Power and another show.
So do you think that the intro to NWA is going to be Rat in a Cage by Smashing Pumpkins? That's just too on the nose, right? It's too meta.
You never know.
But no, Billy Corgan runs that place. He's the lead singer.
Well, Billy Corgan has hinted lately that they're about to sign a TV deal with a top 20 networks, and CW is top 20. It's like so.
Followed by every rerun of Supernatural, NWA.
That's good for them. That'll get them exposure. It's like,
for sure. It's just more wrestling. It's just more unfortunate work for us to have to watch more wrestling. Oh darn.
Yeah, because it's like yeah. So that's now that NWA is going to be on network TV with their weekly show. That's a big plus. So there's a lot of places they can have. But anyway, Ricky Starks, I think, is probably the number one guy that they could potentially lose coming up. MJF is like that could go either way. It's hard to say.
It's so crazy because they are literally they're like, all right, MJF, we're literally putting everybody against you.
It's very obvious. Yeah, it's like because it seems like there's like multiple people that want a piece of MJF right now. We're gonna get to that in detail.
Right. So he's Tony, and it might have to do with MJF too, but they're. This from that NXT versus AEW to now, other than one booking issue, which I was like okay with, which we'll get to with the Raw part, this has been a very solid from there to here week of wrestling between WWE and AEW.
Yeah,
as far as just storytelling, because that I haven't said that in a while for AEW, but this was solid, like progression storyline. You see kind of where they're going with it. You can follow it.
Is getting better with some of their storyline telling.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, just real quick, the top 10. Pete, this was an interesting one.
Yep, Pro Wrestling Insider. Pro Wrestling Insider released their top 250 women's wrestlers, and the number one spot belonged to Mamie herself, the Eradicator Rhea Ripley, which is completely and totally earned. Within the last year, she won the Rumble from number one, which was the first time that had ever been done by a woman. So that and won the match. So that was historic. She went to WrestleMania, beat Charlotte Flair in one of the best matches on WrestleMania. That match was fantastic, and she's been just absolutely crushing it as part of Judgment Day, especially now where it's like pretty clear, like she's in charge of Judgment Day. She's calling the shots.
Yeah.
And the way she's been booked, the stuff with Dominic Mysterio, and now it's like she's got multiple people coming for her head on Raw right now. And it's like, there's like, it's like, we'll get to it. There's like, she's got to deal with like multiple people who want to take the title from her, which is the way it should be. She's been absolutely killing it. So she definitely totally deserves the top spot. This is how the rest of the top 10 for PWI shook out. So after Rhea Ripley at number one, we had Julia at number 2. Bianca Belair was 3, which is well deserved. She's coming this year. She was still pretty red hot, and although she's been off TV since SummerSlam, but word is she's going to be coming back sometime. She just wanted to take a little time off, which is well earned after she's been working her ass off for WWE for the last few years, and she deserved a bit of a break. Jamie Hayter at number 4. This was nice to see and well deserved, because
I was glad to see her get her flowers, because it wasn't just because people got behind her because they just she was over. Before she got hurt, she was very over with the AEW fans, and she's definitely the women's division right now in AEW definitely misses her. So hopefully, she's gonna. It's insane how far she's come so quickly. Because we still would sit there and talk about Jade Cargill being green. I remember when Jamie Hayter first came into AEW, and her progression from now until from then until you see her now has been better than Jade. Now, granted, it might be the way they book the matches or what. I'm just telling you what I see.
Yeah,
Jamie
despite some of the questionable booking about how like it still seemed like Brett was the face of the division while Jamie was champion. That aside, she was super over and she was delivering in the ring. She's one of the best women wrestlers AEW's got, and hopefully she will be off the injured list in the near future and get back in the ring for them. Number 5, Tam Nakano. Number 6, Athena. I don't watch ROH, but what everyone, the word is that Athena has been crushing it as ROH Women's Champion.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah,
about, how Athena's doing with the minions or whatever with Billy Starks and one of the hosts. That's I think her and
she's literally carrying that section of the women's division for 20.
Yeah, she's doing great work.
Yeah. Number 7, Deonna Purrazzo. No surprise, Deonna Purrazzo deserves to be in the top 10.
We talked about her. Go back and watch our previous episode.
She's one of the saving graces that Impact has, especially in their women's division.
And now she's gone.
She's gonna, they're not gonna keep her. It's gonna be very interesting to see where she's gonna go.
Yep.
Because it's like she is not gonna be with Impact for much longer.
Go get that bag, girl, because you deserve it.
No, she deserves to get paid. This number 8 this was surprising, but nice to see Willow Nightingale. Also very discerned. She's come a long way in the last year. She's one of the people that I was like keeping an eye on. I was like, I liked how she performed in the ring. I liked her personality, and she's gotten over. She had a big win this year. Although she wasn't originally supposed to win over Mercedes Moné for New Japan Strong Women's title because Mercedes got injured during the match, and so they had to change the result. Still, she had a really good run with that title while she had it, and she's performed really well. She's definitely one of the top baby faces that AEW and New Japan has. I really like Willow Nightingale. I'm hoping she can be able to get either a TBS or AEW Women's Championship run in the near future.
She really if for anyone that hasn't seen, because I know women's division, how they book them on AEW is very. We still want it to be better.
Yeah,
but if you really want to see why she's in the top 10, go watch her in go watch her in New Japan. She proves why she should be there. She really, because that's when New Japan lets you have 30-minute matches. Like there's like 4 It's like going to see a jam band. That's pretty much what New Japan wrestling is. So.
And then Camille at number 9 and number 10, Jordan Grace round out the top 10 for the PWI.
Jordan's been doing such good work for like the past 3 years.
That's what I've been hearing too. Now, some of these other ones I'm not that familiar with. I assume that some are like there are a lot of from New Japan.
Julia. She is New Japan, or at least she's. I forget the other 2 promotions. There's a female promotion as well over in Japan. That she's been on. I haven't seen any of her matches, but I keep seeing her pop up on on Wrestling X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But you see her pop up frequently. I'm just always like, who the heck is she? And then I look at her, I'm like, oh, she's a Japanese wrestler. And obviously Tam Nakano and Camille, not familiar with them. The big thing,
Tam Nakano is with Stardom. She's the current World of Stardom champion. I've heard about her. Yeah, I was just checking her. Yeah, I've heard she's quite good. So, yeah, it's like the New Japan ladies. Unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with it unless they've appeared on AEW because unfortunately, and it's like, I have enough stuff I'm subscribed to. It's like I don't have them right now the budget to subscribe to New Japan. But I'll tell you one thing though. Mercedes would probably be on this list if she didn't get injured in that match against Willow earlier this year.
And that's the big thing. That's the big highlight of the fact that this is the first time in like 5, 6. I forget exactly what it said. This is the first time in quite some time that none of the horsewomen have been in the top 10.
Yeah, Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, Mercedes are not in the top 10, which is understandable because Charlotte took some time off after WrestleMania. She hasn't been like at the top. She's obviously been involved in some of the top angles, but she's not like carrying, being a title holder and carrying everything. Same with Becky. Becky until recently, it's like Becky wasn't like doing like too much. The Trish feud started out good, meandered, and then finished hella strong with the cage match at SummerSlam, which kicked ass. Ever since that cage match, Becky has been absolutely killing it. So I will not be surprised if she's back in the top 10 or 20 next year if she keeps this up, because right now she's like fucking red hot. What she's doing with the NXT Women's title and helping to elevate the younger talent, which is obviously one thing she wants to do. It's like Bayley, she wants to help build up the division and build up other new stars. While still being able to perform well. So that's not a surprise. And of course, Bayley is like she's been the cheerleader trying to prop up Dakota and Io and not be the focus anymore. So it's not surprised that she's not like in the top 10 either, the top 10 either. And of course, Mercedes was hurt too. So none of that's surprising. But it is unusual to not see any of the horsewomen in the top 10. But it's understandable with what's been happening last year.
It's just like either injuries or just stepped away. And I mean, like they've been putting in. I mean,
they put the four of them put in enough work, both in and outside of WWE. So it's like
it's like one of those things. If you ask our generations, like, all right, give me the Mount Rushmore of female wrestlers. It's like maybe just all four of them. Just put all four of them there. But you really can't. You got to give props to some other ones. But as far as like, I mean, the four horsewomen. They destroyed that Divas crap and gave us actual like solid matches because those four just hats off to Triple H. Be like, let them cook.
Yep.
And these four women will freaking cook. And it took a little bit for us.
That's why there was so much buzz when they came out of NXT. It's like just because of what they were doing in NXT. I mean, just look at like the Sasha Bayley feud is like legendary for a reason, especially. Their 2 out of 3 falls match was the first ever women's match to be PWI's #1 match of the year.
Yeah, that's still
that never happened before.
It's hard for me to ever sit there. I'm trying to think of like what match would.
I don't think it's happened since. I could be wrong.
Female match was better than Bayley and Sasha, and I'm just like I can't recall. I mean, I love the triple threat between, and it's still the horsewomen. Still, it's like I love the triple threat between Charlotte and Becky and Sasha. I believe I forget which WrestleMania it was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Charlotte ended up winning because whatever.
Yeah.
But still, that was just so good. I mean, there was moonsault after moonsault and just spot out. It's like that was so good. And Becky was like the third best, and now she's the man. It's just kind of crazy how they still are just their character work and all that stuff. It's just they're just so good at what those four women can do.
Yeah, it took longer. Becky of the four of them, when they first came out, Becky was obviously ranked 4th out of the 4 of them as far as like in ring work, but she has really improved over the years to where just like what she did with a semi-retired Trish Stratus in that cage match, and then what her and Tiffany Stratton did at No Mercy. It's like she's damn good, man.
They're all four just ridiculous. And the fact that Bayley is at that point of like I said, she lost 88% of her matches this year, but I'm just like every time Bayley's like, oh, Bayley's in a match, I'm like, all right, guess I'm gonna watch it. She probably every time those I mean. They book them right, and or if they don't book them right, they leave and then go somewhere and be like, should have booked us right, Mercedes, type of thing.
So congrats to Rhea Ripley for being #1.
Yes. And she really hasn't wrestled a whole lot this year, but it doesn't matter. Her impact is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like she hasn't done too many matches since WrestleMania, but like her impact is still felt because she's like all over the place and she's involved in storylines. It's like. She's always liked, running interference for Judgment Day or Dominic Mysterio for their matches. It's like she's everywhere.
She speared Kevin Owens through a barricade,
and she's really good on the mic too, man. Too on top of that.
Yeah. A couple other nuggets that we can get to before we move on to SmackDown because I know we're already at almost 40 minutes. Sting. Yeah. You knew it was probably coming when we heard that he had an announcement to make. You probably saw it, but. 2024. So the Stinger is finally putting the boots in the middle of the ring and hanging them up, as they say in the business. But I mean, he's 62, 63.
Yeah,
he's around there. I'm like, and he kind of alluded to it in his speech about a lot of people would sit there and say, but I'm still here, and all that stuff.
He's 64. 64 man.
Yeah, so he'll be 65 next year. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know his birthday off the top of my head and when Revolution comes around. But 64, pushing 65 by the time he has his last match. Just you can't think. I mean, it's Sting as to the lower version of Shivani's voice. He is the icon. I mean, it's just good. Thank you, Steve, for everything you've done for the.
Yeah, this man has been wrestling since 1985.
Right. Yeah. Him and Ultimate. It's a little history lesson for you kids out there. Him and Ultimate Warrior were tag team partners when they first entered the business.
Yep, they were the Blade Runners in the UWF, one of the other promotions that kind of cropped up in the 80s that did not last.
Yeah. But when that finally comes, we will definitely probably do a special Sting appreciation episode.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do something because Sting's had an incredible career.
Yeah.
And he said he means it, that he understands, it's like it's not easy to walk away. He said it in his promo. It's not easy to walk away from wrestling to retire. I mean, look, friggin' Ric Flair wrestled a match like 2 years ago, nearly died because he's insane. But it's not easy to walk away and finally, it's like either it's like you got to do it willingly or like it's like your body can't do it anymore and you have no choice.
And you can not to interrupt, but you can tell as far as like him finally doing it, like he could probably still go till for a couple of years, but he just like, all right, I just, he probably when he wakes up after a match every day, it's kind of like when the football players realize they need to retire. It's like I knew you heard stories about NFL players that towards the end of their career, they couldn't get out of bed the next day, and it's just like, okay, we need to have just look in the mirror. We need to have a chat where, unfortunately, you can tell like it's still eating Undertaker inside that he knows his body can't do it, but his mentally just still wants to go. Just as far as like our legends.
Taker said that if his body was in better shape, he'd probably still be wrestling. But it's like it's not. It's like he knew it. It was like after that Boneyard match, he was like, that he picked the right time to go out because that Boneyard match was a hell of a final match to go out on.
And the only thing that eats him up is because he knew AJ could help him do the match that he wanted, and just COVID ended up doing had to do the Boneyard stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's the one thing I wish that we did get a legit AJ. Obviously, we never got Sting Undertaker. That's still the biggest. That's probably the biggest what if in wrestling history.
Yeah, no, that's one of the greatest dream matches that unfortunately it never happened and will now never happen.
We got Triple H versus Sting. I don't care. I just want Sting Undertaker.
It still baffles me that they didn't do that when Sting was with WWE for a bit.
It's just because it's all because Vince's freaking ego. I'm just going to go with Vince's ego. And
yeah, absolutely. But no, kudos to the Stinger for going out on his own terms.
Yeah, exactly. That's always the way you want to do it. A couple other nuggets. AEW had a really good rating this week. They did
back on Wednesday.
Back on Wednesday, and they're not competing, so it's kind of weird how that still happens, even in the internet era. They did 901K, I believe, which
pretty good. Almost
pretty,
a million.
Pretty daggone good because right now they were averaging 700, so that's a 200,000 bump. So maybe there was a little bit more eyes than you think that watched AEW. Maybe that Tuesday Night War ended up being kind of a bump. So we'll see how it progresses because, I mean, to me, if you're a casual fan, I think that was a pretty good show. But we'll see how it shakes out next week.
But I thought Dynamite was pretty solid last night.
Yeah.
So
and then the other thing, Survivor Series. We've talked about ticket sales before. Is how they've been up. Survivor Series was 13,000 seats. And I guess they did. I don't know how they figure out the numbers, but they increased it to 15 now. So, which I figured there'd be 15 anyway for Survivor Series, but
it's pretty much sold out from what I've heard, which is impressive.
So, and the fact that I don't know how they knew that maybe the waiting rooms. I do not know the science on how to figure out. No. We need to release more tickets. You see that all the time with events, and I just don't know.
Yeah, we create more seats down below. It's because you have to fix. It's like up above the decks. That's all fixed. It's it's what you can, how much room you can make around the ring that can factor into the extra beyond the normal capacity.
Right. All right. So, any other news?
No, I think that covers all the big news.
All right. Well, let's move on to SmackDown. Go ahead.
All right. All right.
I'll let you take the key here for a second.
Yeah, I'll go through do a quick recap of what happened on SmackDown. We can pick out the highlights here. So, SmackDown last Friday opened with Cena opening the show, speaking to the fans about the bloodline, and before he could say much, Roman Reigns finally returned to television after a 2-month absence since SummerSlam. Had Heyman and Solo with him, talk trash with Cena, saying like, hey, you're not the GOAT, I'm the GOAT, blah 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 blah. And that led to LA Knight coming out, and Roman and LA Knight exchanged words, and it was really good. Some really good liners between the two of them. LA Knight making it clear that he's coming for Roman, and Roman's acting like, you're not a threat to me. Which we'll see how long that lasts. So that led to LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa as the main event for later in the show. Pretty Deadly finally returned to action. Elton Strong. They defeated the Brawling Brutes. So nice to see them back in the ring. They're awesome. Carlito was being interviewed backstage about being back in WWE. Didn't get to say too much because Lashley and the Street Profits showed up and beat the crap out of him as payback for what happened at Fastlane. LWO didn't appear, but they appeared after the commercial break, along with medical checking on Carlito, make sure he's okay. Bayley came in all upset about this this commotion, which pissed Zelina off, and she's challenged Bayley to a match. Unfortunately for Zelina, Bayley won that match, and Damage Control tried to beat down poor Zelina after the match, but Charlotte Flair came out to make the save. Then the big announcement came because Triple H was advertised for the show to make a big announcement. So Triple H came out to the ring to a big ovation. He had Adam Pearce with him in the ring. He announced that there's going to be some changes. He told Adam Pearce that he's done a good job as the authority figure for both Raw and SmackDown for the last few years, but one man shouldn't be in charge of both shows. And announced that going forward, he was going to be exclusively the general manager of Raw, making it official. Finally making it official that he is the authority figure, which he's been the unofficial authority figure for some time, but now he is officially the general manager of Raw. So that was a good move. And so that left, well, who's going to be the general manager of SmackDown? And as it was heavily rumored before Friday, it was former NWA champion Nick Aldis was introduced as the new general manager of SmackDown, making him an on-air character. He also is reportedly working backstage, also as a producer at the same time. So he's got a lot of hats going on. So good for him. Hopefully we'll see him in the ring as well. And Dominic Mysterio came out complaining about what was going on, and this led to Nick Aldis revealing finally who was traded from Raw to SmackDown in place of Jey Uso. It was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out in a blue variant of his T-shirt and gave Dominic Mysterio a stunner to shut him the F up. Then we had later, Nick Aldis was talking with Charlotte Flair and said that she definitely got kind of screwed at Fastlane, and he was giving her a one-on-one rematch with Io Sky for the women's title next week on SmackDown, much to Charlotte's delight. And as Charlotte was about to leave, who does she run into? Jade Cargill with Triple H. And nice little tease, a little bit of words exchanged between Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair, because those two one-on-one is money. So that was a nice little tease there. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso beat Austin Theory and Grayson Waller to remain the undisputed tag team champions. Decent match. As they were leaving to go to the back, the Bloodline came out and Roman and Cody had a pretty long and intense stare down with absolutely no words until Nick Aldis and the producer officials came out to tell them to break it up. Obviously, making it very clear to us and to the fans, Roman and Cody 2 is going to happen. Yes, thank God. The story is not over. So that was a nice little tease. Roman was complaining throughout the show about, like Jay's being on SmackDown with the tag titles, Cody being on the show, KO being on the show. He's not happy, telling Jimmy to go get shit done, and instead of laying on his couch drinking his water. So, that led to the main event. LA Knight beat Soul Sikoa with the blunt force trauma. Bloodline tried to cause shenanigans, but Cena came out to help. He took care of Jimmy Uso with an attitude adjustment, letting LA Knight get the victory. And as LA Knight was celebrating and posing, he turns around and wham! There's Roman Reigns with a spear to drop him on his behind, and Roman stands tall over him, trash talking as the show ended. So, pretty solid episode of SmackDown. Some big surprises, big reveals. Return of Roman Reigns is very welcome. Finally get to have back on TV, and it's pretty clear that they're building toward LA Knight getting a crack at Roman for the title. Most likely as crown jewel. No, it's not official yet. That's most likely what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis being introduced as the general manager of SmackDown, very interesting. I know some people are like, "Oh, I want to see him in the ring." I think we might eventually. You know, it's like sometimes the authority figure has to get their hands dirty, so it's like you never know. Yeah. But cool for Nick Aldis. He's got the look and the attire to look like he looks like an authority figure. So
and some authority figure that's like if you talk crap to him, he'll his like one line with Dom made. I was like, all right, oh, yeah. He's the authority.
Yeah, no, his diss on Dominic was fantastic. And also Kevin Owens being revealed as the a lot of people were thinking it was going to be Cody. No, Cody has not moved to SmackDown. Cody's staying on Raw for the foreseeable future. It's Kevin Owens who got moved over, breaking him and Sammy up again, unfortunately. KO's been on SmackDown before. I love KO. Yeah, like I told Josh, I was a little bummed that him and Sammy's tag teaming is over for the time being because they were awesome together. They had a great one with the tag titles, great moment at WrestleMania, winning the tag titles in the main event of the first night. But this is also a good opportunity, and we'll get to it because Sammy cut a really good promo about proving that hopefully this means that Sammy might get into the world title scene on Raw, which would be a very good thing for him and would be awesome. And also, shout out to Kevin Owens. He talked with Kathy Kelly in a back screen a digital exclusive, saying that talking about being back at SmackDown is bitter. He's happy to be there, although it's bittersweet that he and Sammy are split up again for the time being. And he gave an awesome shout out to a friend of mine named Adam, aka Adam Cole, who had surgery that day for his broken ankle, and told him wished him well and speedy recovery because KO is an awesome human being. So it was a nice way to give a shout out to Cole without for the fans, exactly who he was talking about. He didn't need to say his full name. He just who he was referring to. So that was a really nice thing to see. Because KO and Adam go way back to ROH days. It's like they're BFFs. So that was nice.
Yeah. So a couple things with me. Like I said, from last Tuesday till this yesterday's shows, we've had solid shows. Obviously we can nitpick all we want, but the fact that we're only nitpicking and not just being like, why do they do that? Well, I mean, Raw, there was the finish, but you can nitpick that because of previous, but we'll get there. I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly, because I didn't know why they did it in the first place. But that being said, this show alone, number one, dude, Adam Pearce deserves all of his flowers. Dude took on, they threw him and told him to swim, and the dude has been treading water like a champ. He is freaking Michael Phelps.
He's done a really good job as the authority figure for the last it's been like since the pandemic era. He's been like the authority figure on both shows.
Right, and they just threw him in there and just like, oh, Adam Pearce, and people were like, who the hell is Adam Pearce? So it's like he had to not only just be the authority
figure. He was basically
figure,
the GM of both shows, even though he wasn't the GM. So now it's nice that
it did come out that and it's nice that we finally get there's a GM for both shows like it should have been, and also for the fact is, I didn't realize Vince did, for some reason that's the GM is now the general manager is one of those bad words you can't say. So if you didn't think that Ari was like get the heck out of here. Triple H is like, here's a general man. Now Adam Pearce is a general man. We were upgrading him. He's not just an authority figure. It's like
this is kind of hinted at because they've referred to HBK as the GM of NXT. That he's in charge of NXT both on the screen and behind the scenes. Like Adam Pearce talking to has been he talks to HBK to make sure it's okay to book Becky in NXT title matches on Raw, that sort of thing, which is a nice continuity thing to be like, hey, HBK, is this cool that she's defending the title here? Yep, no problem. Okay, cool.
Yep. The other thing, when just all right, if you don't like Pretty Deadly, there is something just wrong.
The Elton Strong stuff was just it's
just
it's like,
yes boy. It's just like if you don't get Pretty Deadly,
these guys are just so good.
They're so entertaining.
Please
they're good in the ring. They're great on the mic. They have a great character. They're ooze charisma. They're so good.
Give them the tag titles within the next year. I beg you.
They are Edge and Christian meets Breezango meets awesome. I don't care. They're so good. And the fact that they're giving them time to do their dumbass vignettes, they're just so good. And then like them against the Brawling Brutes, as much as I like Pete Dunne. Yes, I'm not calling him Dutch. Unless I like Pete Dunne.
Pretty Deadly deserves
They're like what New Day could have been if they finally let them do the
New Day. They're like it's like
just that charismatic, just happy-go-lucky, but they still will. Anyway. We can go on. We can do a whole show about Pretty Deadly.
They're awesome. Period.
Also, too, the whole all we need to do is just have that stare down, and then Triple H go. Less is more. Literally, just a stare down. And then go, this is Jade, and then Charlotte just cuts him off. Goes, I know who she is.
I wasn't paying completely attention, but I can't remember. Was Triple H smiling as Jade and Charlotte were exchanging words?
Yeah,
probably thinking like, oh man, we're gonna make so much fun.
I know. I was like, I can see all the fucking money with that, because that's what we talked about. Jade and Charlotte.
That's just natural.
It reminds me of like
the same height, man, and both of them are so built. It's like that's a natural matchup, right?
To me, it's like Triple H versus Batista. You could see them fight forever, but Batista is not as good as Triple H. But if you put those two in the ring, it's gonna be awesome. Even though their last match is what it was on there. But Triple H at WrestleMania matches, I don't know why. It's just like a curse. Like he gets 30 minutes when he only needs 15. But that's beside the point.
I like what they've been doing with Jade, with her popping up on those shows right now, teasing like, is she going to be on SmackDown? Is she going to be on Raw? Could she even be on? She could even show up on NXT. It's like it, and also teasing the possible matchups. And we'll get to another tease because she had a little stare down with another big name in the women's division besides Charlotte this week.
And then lastly, obviously going back to Roman in LA. That shot with Roman and LA Knight's glasses.
Oh God,
was so freaking cool.
Kudos to the cameraman for getting that shot. That shot was absolutely fantastic.
And then I showed you that was cool. And then I didn't realize he quoted John Cena's rap song about about to know yourself in past tense or whatever the line was.
Yeah.
And then in a house show later on, well, first off, I loved Roman's reaction to when LA Knight's music hit, and he's kind of like, who's this guy? And Paul Heyman beside him was like, oh no, not him. I'm not him. If anyone but him, and Roman's like,
Heyman was
they say your name, like whatever. But again, this is one of those things, and people are nervous. They're like, oh, they're gonna bury LA Knight. I'm like, think about who Roman has beat and where they are right now. Are they buried? No.
Is Cody? Everyone was worried that Cody losing to Roman at WrestleMania would kill some momentum. Spoiler, it has not. He is still one of the most over baby faces on the roster. Fans love him. Jey Uso is super over. He's lost to Roman. He lost to Roman at SummerSlam. He's mega over.
Sammy over.
Still over. So it makes sense. LA Knight is fucking red hot. He's the red hot baby face on SmackDown. Him not coming for Roman would not make any sense.
No,
he is so hot right now. It's like him coming after like the US title makes no sense. He's main event level over right now.
Yeah.
So it's only logical that he's coming for Roman right now.
Yeah. And two other things, and then we will move on. Speaking about the United States title, over the weekend, Logan Paul had his
that's right.
Dumb boxing match, which sucked. But this is why it hurts me to say Logan Paul gets it, is because even after that, which has nothing to do with WWE, his whole thing was him talking about how he's coming for Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he gets it. He cares. It's like,
he does.
gosh, and he's good in the ring. And it's just like, you make no sense on how good you are. You get it.
He gets wrestling and he's amazing in the ring. So it's like, they're going to use him. It's like, it brings people in. So it looks like, that's probably going to be a match for Survivor Series. Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul for the US title.
Yeah. And last thing, if I don't know if you saw on Twitter,
maybe Crown Jewel. Maybe Crown Jewel. If they want to rush it, we'll see.
Who knows? Anyway, that's going to be a thing. Good, just good job by Logan Paul. I can't believe I'm saying that, but he's winning me over for as much crap as he's done in the past. But he has really good interviews with people that I actually watch him for. So I don't know. He's just really good, and it pains me how much he could be WWE champion. I'd buy it. I
know.
Anyway. I just want to see him and Bad Bunny, and then we really see how good the both of them are. I don't want to see that. Last thing, what was it? Oh yeah, LA Knight at a house show after SmackDown gave the BFT to like all the bloodline, and then talked crap to Roman. He grabbed the mic and was just like, "I'm taking your title."
I saw some of the footage. It was really good. So it's like, they're gonna have a hell of a match coming up here. It's not gonna hurt LA Knight because he's still got Solo and he's kind of got Jimmy in his corner, so he's still got shenanigan protection just like Judgment Day does. So there's gonna be screw jobs involved. So it's that to help protect make the loss sting a lot less.
Was I supposed to crack up laughing when he talked in Jimmy's reaction when he was like, "You drinking my water?" and he was just like, and he almost broke Roman. And he was just like, "I'm the quarterback. I'm the quarterback, right? I'm the quarterback." I was just
Are you a quarterback?
Are you the quarterback? I'm the quarterback. I called the play. You didn't run it. You drinking my water?
On my couch, drinking my water.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh."
And also remember, he said that he was not happy seeing Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes with the tag titles, and told Jimmy to do something about it, which led to a very major development happening on Raw.
Right. So again, that's the only thing that I had an issue with, but not really, because it shouldn't have been that thing anyway. So we'll get to that part. But yeah, no. Overall, see, it's like the fact that you can take that and then and then pull that to a house show.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Who knew that you can make house shows relevant too?
They used to be back in the day.
So it's just kind of like, hey, you see these online, and you can use it to your advantage and show that, oh, this might happen, and then he might cut a promo that's going to actually elevate to the next show, instead of just, oh, they're just going to go out there and wrestle. It's much more intimate. I understand why house shows, I need to go to one. I've never actually been to one.
Yeah,
but it's a much more intimate experience between the fans and the wrestlers on those house shows. So, but the fact that they're still kind of building matches and stuff like that makes people want to go to house shows, because you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
So kudos to how they're continuing doing storylines even when they're not on TV. It's a weird concept.
Yeah.
All right. Raw.
All right. So Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn opened the show, cut a promo. Fans were happy to see him. He talked about Kevin Owens getting traded to SmackDown. He's not happy about that news. Sad that their tag team broken up. But he also saw it as an opportunity to prove, as he said, that he is a world champ level superstar, which he is, and would be wonderful to see him with a world title reign at some point. Of course, can't have a babyface cut a promo very long until the heel team interrupts, and Judgment Day came out running their mouths and said that, oh, no, looks like you're all by yourself now, Sammy. And they went to look like they were going to do a beatdown. But his bro Jey Uso came out with a pair of chairs to help get Judgment Day to back down. In the back, Sammy told Jey that while he appreciated him helping him out with Judgment Day, he's also kind of not happy with him because he basically was like, Kevin being not here is because of you being traded here, and I want to be happy for you and your opportunities and everything, but it feels like in the process, I've gotten kind of screwed, and I'm not happy about it. And it's like he was pretty pissed. But then he realized that it's like he shouldn't be blaming Jey, and that he apologized, and him and Jey had a bro hug. So they're still cool. Then let's see. When we had Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Ricochet in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This match was pretty awesome. Check out, if it had to be in the highlights, the shooting star press that Ricochet did off of the railing in the seat section, which was nuts. Great finish where Shinsuke put him through a table off the top rope, and then Kinshasa him right in the face to knock Ricochet out to win the match. Excellent stuff between these two. Piper Niven defeated Natalya in a one-on-one match. Her and Chelsea Green, the women's tag team champions, went to beat down Guinness World Record holder Natty, but Tegan Nox ran out to save to back her up to continue the burgeoning friendship between Natty and Tegan Nox, which I think is leading to the two of them teaming up to challenge Chelsea and Piper for the women's tag titles in the near future, especially with that happened on NXT, which we'll get to. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre had a confrontation in the ring to build toward their world title match at Crown Jewel. Seth brought up footage from last week showing Seth being all chatty with Rhea Ripley of all people, and Seth being like, well, what the F is up with that? And Drew sidestepping it. It's like, and they had a war of words, and this was a really good build. It really got to a core of the issues. Seth basically called Drew out for whining about Bloodline screwing him last year at Clash in the Castle and stuff like that, and to just he needs to get over it. So the slow build toward McIntyre's full heel turn continues. Wolfgang Kaiser defeated Johnny Gargano one-on-one thanks to some cheating ringside from Giovanni, his tag team partner, which is understandable. And it's like this is building toward DIY versus Imperium. Ciampa was not medically cleared, so he was not there to back Jenny up, but I'm sure he's going to be back probably this coming week. Let's see. Then we got to a backstage segment where Indy Hartwell, along with Candice LeRae, were talking with Becky Lynch, and Indy was like, I still deserve to have a title shot, NXT title shot, because, hey, I had to relinquish the title due to injury. I never lost it. And Becky's like, okay, all right, I'll go talk to Adam Pearson if him and HBK are okay with it. You and me for the NXT title on Raw next week. And then as she was going into about to go into Adam Pearce's office to do that, who does she run into? Rhea Ripley. Her and Rhea have a little bit of a nice little stare down to as another tease for the two of them clashing down the line, which I probably think is going to happen probably at WrestleMania, most likely. So that was nice to see. And I love how after Rhea left, Becky was like, it'd be nice to be Becky Two Belts again. Obviously thinking of getting her hands on the world title. Later, it showed that Becky would talk to Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce told her that he talked to HBK, and they are sanctioned the title match with Indy Hartwell for next week on Raw, which will be ahead of her. Most likely she's going to win that because she's scheduled to face Lyra Valkyria at the first night of Halloween Havoc for the title as well. So it'll probably be a good way to just give Indy Hartwell a showcase, which I think is a good thing because she definitely deserves it. But then as Becky was going to leave, who does she run into? Jade Cargill. Her and Jade Cargill have a bit of a stare down, just like she had with Charlotte Flair, teasing another possible banger feud matchup for Jade in the future. Drew ran into Sammy in the back and basically told him, yo, I don't like the fact that you so easily forgave Jey Uso for all the stuff he did in the bloodline, and was kind of like just kind of running down Sammy a bit, and Sammy didn't appreciate that, and basically like, yo, let's go settle this in the ring. And so he challenged Drew to a one-on-one match next week on Raw. That should be awesome. Then Rhea Ripley came out for a match with Shayna Baszler. They had a good thing going, but just like last week, interference to further the angle happened. Nia Jax ran out to attack, causing a disqualification. They brawled, and then Raquel Rodriguez, and then also Zoe Stark joined in on the fun, and all 5 women were just beating the crap out of each other. Rhea Ripley went to Adam Pearce later and was like, I'm tired of this. Do something about it. And Pearce like, oh, I have. You're going to be defending the women's world title at Crown Jewel against Nia Jax, against Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Shayna Baszler in a fatal 5-way. So that's probably going to be quite the chaotic match. Rhea wasn't happy, but it makes sense with what's going on. She's got a lot of challengers, so throw a bunch of them all into one match and then maybe settle on someone going on one-on-one with her afterwards. Let's see. Also, I also forgot. Xylee also was like wants a shot at the NXT Women's title. Becky told her to get in line, and she's like, "I will. I'll name the time and place." So that's probably going to happen as well sometime down the line as well. Either. Gunther continues his historic reign as Intercontinental Champion. He beat Bronson Reed in a banger of a TV match. These two just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. His big meaty men slap and meet. I don't know how Gunther can powerbomb people like him and Otis, but he does, man. He's got the strength. Holy cow. It's like he had to powerbomb Bronson Reed to put him down for good. They had a hell of a match. And Gunther definitely was like gave a nod of respect to Bronson Reed for giving him a hell of a fight afterwards, even though this was the kudos to both men because this is a heel versus heel matchup. The fans were definitely into this match. So that's a good sign for Bronson Reed going forward. Then he ran into his goon squad in the back and told them that, yes, Kaiser's like, well, what do you mean I took care of Johnny Gargano? He's like, yeah, you did, but I want him sent out of the arena on a stretcher to the hospital. So that better happen next week. And basically it's Giovanni's turn, and he told them that better happen or else. So probably there's going to be things are not going to go according to Imperium's plan next week. Basically a comedy skit. Alpha Academy is working on the back with Akira Tozawa. Man, Tozawa is like a master of the comedy, man. He's underrated. I swear to God. New Day came in and words were exchanged, friendly words, to set up the two of them facing off in a tag team match because they all want in to improve in the tag division. And also Gable is still asking Otis to chop him to prepare himself for when he finally gets another shot at Gunther for the Intercontinental title. So that storyline still continues. And then we have the main event. We had almost forgot. I skipped ahead. Before that, we had okay. I thought I skipped something. Nope. So the main event, Judgment Day, went up against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes for the tag team titles. Lots of shenanigans happened at ringside. No JD McDonough this time, but Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio were there to try to cause all kinds of problems, try to help them win. Sami Zayn came down to back up his friends to try to prevent that from happening. And in all the chaos, who shows up to eventually screw Jay and Cody over? Jay's own brother, Jimmy Uso, following the orders of the tribal chief. He appears out of nowhere, super kicks his brother in the face, which allows Judgment Day to finish Jay and pin him. And once again, Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day are the undisputed tag team champions. And they celebrated on the ramp as Jay, Cody, and Sammy were all not very happy to end the show. So very loaded Raw, lots of stuff happening, lots of storylines moving forward, matches being built. The obvious build toward War Games continues with what's going on here, because now the Judgment Day got a little bit of unexpected help from the Bloodline, kind of playing off of what happened before Fastlane, where Rhea and Heyman kind of was like, we can work together. It's like we don't have to be enemies. It's like so that could lead to maybe a mix of Bloodline and Judgment Day against the baby faces in a War Games match. So we will see. So Jay and Jimmy. So that also this also helps build toward Jimmy and Jay eventually going one-on-one, because now Jimmy's really screwed Jay over big time by costing him and Cody the tag titles in this match here. So
do you
a lot of good stuff happening here.
Do you believe me now, Justin? When I predicted 3 weeks ago what War Games would be?
Yeah. That's why I was like, yeah, I think you're on the right track now, especially after what Jimmy did.
What Jimmy did to cost them the titles, because why would you give them the titles for an 8-day reign? For that reason alone.
Yeah, I know.
It made no sense for them to take them to begin with, but they needed a title exchange on the show, which is why just how the show works and how you have to have some type.
Give something the fans to cheer for, because
you have to give something to cheer for.
Because I mean, just look at how many people are throwing up their hands along with Jay when he comes out. It's like he is mega over, man.
Yeah.
Holy
cow. It made no reason, although that press conference after Fastlane will obviously live in infamy. I love that. I'll go back and
Cody's already said that's one of top 10 greatest moments for him in his
Triple
career.
H couldn't stop smiling and laughing when he came out after they did that. People thought that they were drunk and high and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I was wondering. I was like, did they have a little something before they came up with this press conference?
I don't care. It was entertaining as hell. But it looks like the War Games is going to come down to those four, and so KO, Sammy, maybe KO with him going to SmackDown. I still think he's going to be a part of it because you have Bloodline and Judgment Day kind of going back and forth. So what would you do? LA Knight?
Probably,
because John Cena's not going to be there anymore. So
yeah,
it would.
Especially if Solo and Jimmy help keep the title on Roman's waist and he loses via typical Bloodline shenanigans. I totally see it being. I don't know if JD Badell will be involved. It might be Priest, Finn, Dom, Solo, Jimmy versus KO, LA Knight, Cody, Jay, Sammy, 5-on-5.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I think I was off by maybe one. And I have LA in
there. So that way you have we have both Raw and SmackDown coming together under one War Games, and kind of because all this stuff is kind of interconnected now, especially with the this cooperation going on right now between Bloodline and Judgment Day.
Yeah, I don't think Roman's going to be part of it. So.
No, he's probably going to have a title match or something.
Yeah, something weird.
Because him being in the War Games match last year made sense, because it was all about the baby faces trying to take down the Bloodline of Peg.
Right. Now it's the conjoining Bloodline and a bunch of people.
Now besides, Bloodline is not what it used to be. Judgment Day is kind of edged them as the because they got all the gold, man. It's they're all dripped in gold. So it's they're the powerhouse heel faction right now.
Right.
So,
but yeah, that was the only thing. That was, like I said, alluding to early in the show, I'm that was the one thing that I was like, why would you?
People complain about hot shotting titles, but this is serving the storyline, so I'm okay with it.
And plus you didn't want
because I was surprised that they won the titles in the first place. I'm like,
right.
So now I understand why they gave them the titles. It was leading to this moment,
right? Because it was kind of like, all right, Jimmy, if you went back in the bloodline, I'm the quarterback. I can watch that thing all day.
I don't like Jimmy Uso being on my show. I don't like Cody Rhodes being on my show, and I don't like them having the tag titles. And are you going to do something about it? And well, he did something about it.
He did something. So it's so crazy when Roman comes back. It's like, oh yeah,
things are finally moving.
How far he's come across, how far he's come from suckering succotash and being stuffed down our throats. And it's called a promo, man. You know how to do one. Those type of lines. And now like Roman's like every time he comes out, I was like, yeah, he's the dude, isn't he?
Gunther is just. It's like,
that's my next one of this show. All right, so we just had the top women.
Yeah.
Didn't they already do the men and the top 3 were the Shield, or is that still later to come in the year? Have they not done them? They do the women first. I thought they did the men.
I think it already happened. Yeah.
Gunther was like 5 or 4, wasn't he?
Yeah, Gunther was in the top 10, which he deserved to be.
I thought it was like 6 or he was like 5 to 7. But the Shield was top 3 because it was Seth, John, and Roman. Like in some, I think Seth was number. I know Seth was number 1. That's like the 4th time he's been number 1. But as far as in-ring work, as much as I love Seth, Gunther is the best in-ring worker going right now.
Yeah.
All right, jog my memory. Help me out here. Did Claudio and Gunther ever wrestle each other?
Claudio and Gunther, they never clashed. No.
All right. So, whenever, just somehow or another, I wish they were in the same company right now because those two would just. They especially like what he did with McIntyre and what Gunther did with McIntyre and showing his strength against Bronson Reed and what he did with Sheamus. Just think of what him and Claudio, if with Triple H actually booking a damn match, how much time he would give those two. That's like every time I watch Gunther and then I watch Claudio, I'm like, oh my God, I would love to see those two just beat the living dog crap out of each other because they would do it. But I mean. Claudio was there beforehand, but I don't ever remember them actually like going at each other before Claudio left. Because I remember him and Sheamus, Gunther and Sheamus kind of had a thing going, but I never remember Claudio getting involved.
The PWI top 500 men. Seth, Roman, the Shield were 1, 2, and 3. Seth 1, right. Roman 2, Moxley 3rd. Gunther was 4, which he deserved.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought Gunther was 4, but what he's doing right now, it's not because it's just his in-ring work. He's like as far as in-ring work, it's he surpassed Roman because Roman's put on pretty much. It's nothing against Roman, but he's put on the same match for like the past 10 times. It's literally the same match. He'll come out. Beat him down because because the way they book him, it's like, how are you ever going to beat this guy? He beats him down for like, the first 5-10 minutes, looks around being like, really, this is the guy that you think's going to beat me? And then they rally and then they do this and you think Roman's about to lose and then the bloodline interferes and they
also mix in different stuff. Like it's like Gunther was like, it took a lot. He had to throw like everything in the kitchen sink to finally get Bronson Reed to just drop. Like they were like just clotheslining the fuck out of each other, just to see who was going to drop. It was fantastic, and they got the crowd in this match, even though it was a heel versus heel match. The crowd was into this match, so it's testament to both men that the fans were into this match, even though it was heel versus heel. Gunther's on another level right now, it's like I cannot wait for Chad Gable to. His historic reign as Intercontinental Champion.
It better be Chad.
It has to. It has to be. It's like
because of all the matches that he's had, and like it's just like, all right, it's Gunther versus a Seagull. I'm like, it's gonna be a banger, but that Chad Gable Gunther had some weight to it. Whereas him versus Bronson, still a fun match. And any match he's involved with, he's so good
So
it doesn't really matter. Like him and Ciampa was still fun, but that weight that you felt with Chad and how they built it, you're just like,
can you imagine the matches he can have? Well, like him versus Drew or Seth, it's like, and for or even even Sammy. Holy cow! It's like just like him when he finally loses the Intercontinental title and he goes into the world title picture. Oh my God, the matchup's gonna be so good.
That Seth match. If you thought Seth was good and you thought Gunther was good,
you know what I'm kind of hoping is it in the next couple of months he loses the Intercontinental title, but Gunther's the one that is finally one that breaks Seth and forces him off TV for a while so he can go heal his back up. Yeah. And that Gunther is the one who breaks him and takes the world title, which makes sense because Gunther knows how to break people.
Right. The other thing, as far as like going over, like those are like the big things that stuck out to me. The other thing,
I love the continued Rhea Becky teases. I love them.
Yep. And the fact that Jade is just going face to face with like every major female wrestler and being like, I'm here, and and this is how it's subtle, but it works. Because she goes face to face with the big dogs, and all of them go, we recognize you, we see you're here, we get it. Yeah, and so it's putting over to the audience who not the people who've grown up watching wrestling and listen on the dirt sheets, the casuals, to be like, oh, she has a presence. She is like Becky, or not, but yeah, Becky. Becky's looking at her like, okay. And then Charlotte's looking at her like, okay. We haven't seen the Rhea part.
You want to take me on? Come get me.
Right. And she's like the okay. But they understand that they don't look down upon her.
No. It's like you could see like there's respect, but no fear. Like they don't fear Jade, but they respect her. Like,
right.
So you're welcome to WWE. You want to face me? Bring it.
They didn't bury her. That's the thing. They built her. It's not like when the Booker T, when the Alliance and all that stuff, and The Rock comes up.
Oh God,
who the blue hell are you? And I'm like, Booker T, but Booker T is just that good that he still went over.
He was able to get over that, yeah.
Get over that, but like you buried him. Like Vince McMahon just still goes like, if I didn't build you, I'm gonna bury you. But you're part of my company, so you have to do what I tell you. I never liked that apart. But
yeah, exactly.
Anyway. But yeah, that was. I like how they're doing that because you really never know who Jay's gonna feud with. But they're putting her face to face with the big dogs.
They're just teasing the possibilities, which is what you want to do.
Right. You're teasing the possibilities. Has she been face to face?
Yeah, like her versus Charlotte is money. Her versus Becky is money. Like her versus multiple people is money. Oh yeah, they haven't heard it. I think that's one that's probably going to be coming soon. Is Rhea and Jade having to stare down because that's also fucking money right there.
If you want me to say like her first, other than squash matches against like I don't know Natalia or some shit.
Yeah.
Like the big one I want to see is Charlotte, because I think still Charlotte is probably the best wrestler as far as getting the most out of her opponent, because Rhea's great.
I'm leaning toward that as well.
Becky is only good as far as the size of the opponent.
Right, because the Becky Rhea teases have been happening for quite some time. So obviously that's probably going to happen at Mania 40. So think about it. At Mania 40, you've got Becky Rhea on one side, Jade Charlotte on the other. Money.
Right. Yeah. So we've been talking about before the Jade Cargill deal went through. I'm just like, give me Charlotte. That's the first time I've ever said, give me Charlotte versus
those two as the two women's title matches for Mania. That's a double win right there. Those matchups.
Yeah, and then if Bianca comes back, Jade Cargill comes out.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Bianca versus Jade. That's a natural. That it's like, oh my God.
Can you imagine them doing like the Scott Steiner Triple H build where they do like arm wrestling and push-up contests and shit?
Oh yeah,
that's the dumbest thing ever. But I'm just thinking about that for some reason, just because
the fans are gonna go rabid for a Jade Bianca stare down.
Yeah. The other thing, let me think. I'm trying to go back through the show.
Did you like the Seth Drew stuff? I like where they're building toward. I like this slow build toward Drew's heel turn.
Do
It's
you
like
think
it's
Drew?
coming.
So you don't think Drew's going to overturn Seth?
I'd be shocked if he did.
Yeah, I just really like the way they're
I
doing
think
Drew.
he's gonna lose, and that's where he's finally gonna snap and go full heel.
The Drew story, his character development is something that I've been missing for quite some time in
Me
wrestling.
too, and it's like I'm a self-professed Drew McIntyre fan, and it's like I was so happy when he got the title run there in 2020. It just sucks. It was during the pandemic. It's like he carried the company. I was back there for a while, and it's like he was having really good matches like that. It's like some of the stuff with the Randy Orton feud was a little hit and miss, but their matches did not disappoint. It's like it was just unfortunate that it happened during the pandemic and not for
They have been teasing Randy Orton too. The band that does his theme song did a remix of it.
I'm hoping Randy's 100% and that he can come back.
They're teasing him they're trying to get him back by SummerSlam. So I mean, not SummerSlam, but Survivor Series. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, they're hoping that
the 2S name always throws me off with Survivor Series and SummerSlam.
Yeah, the double S.
Yeah, the double S always throws me off. But yeah,
anything else from Raw before we go to AEW?
They're still teasing Punk. What the hell's going on?
I don't know.
That's the only thing that my last little thought is like they're still.
Either they're going to keep doing that until they work something out, or they have worked something out and it's top secret. We'll see.
I don't know. I mean, it's like people are like it's a work. I'm like when Sean Ross Sapp reports it.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He's not a shill.
I'm gonna take his word over most people.
He's earned his respect in the dirt sheet community of like when he
reports it. Him and his sources are much more trustworthy than Meltzer's.
And Sean Ross Sapp has worked his ass off, and that's why. As far as like McIntyre, like Sean Ross Sapp has earned his ass off to get where he has, and so many people like sit there and say like, okay, this means this and this means that. He's like the Adam Schefter of WWE. And but the only thing about McIntyre, if for the casual fans who don't think McIntyre is just some brute guy, go watch him go off on Kevin Owens about 7-8 months ago, where Triple H first took over. It was the first Raw. No wrestling wasn't. You couldn't say wrestle, and Kevin Owens just kind of poked the bear. And he was just like, and he just went off. You could just tell everything just came out of him. And it was such a good, it wasn't Kevin. He wasn't even really bitching at Kevin Owens. He was just bitching because I did this and I've worked and I got fired and I worked my ass off. And he goes, and as far as I know, we're two wrestlers in a wrestling ring. So let's just frickin' wrestle. And it's like, that's still that promo. I'm like, this is why McIntyre is awesome because he puts on banger matches and he has that promo in him. So, and the fact that he can do this little subtlety stuff and it makes sense. This is why I'm glad you brought back up Drew because
and also
Drew's stuff right now is really good.
Rate, besides his match with Roman, I didn't see this because this happened before I got back into wrestling. When him and Dolph Ziggler were tag teaming and they were tag team champions, they had like a 5-star level match against Seth and Moxley for the tag titles at Hell in a Cell 2018. That is absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's like
you realize why Vince was like, "This is my golden boy," but Drew was way too immature at the time, and he unfortunately had to. It's kind of like you see some guys that had to go back to indies, cut their teeth. And then realized
it was just natural for McIntyre. I just got drawn to him just because I saw how they were building him up, leading toward Rumble 2020, and I was just like, no, I love this guy. I'm on board. And it's like so.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, Drew. Whoever the writer is with Drew and his storyline, hats off to you, my person, because the subtlety. I haven't seen this in quite some time.
No.
You know where it's going, but it doesn't jump. It doesn't jump
doing
ahead.
Little heel things, but he's not full blown heel yet. It's a nice slow burn.
It's a slow burn, which we haven't seen in wrestling in quite some time.
No, you don't see that.
You see it. Then next week he just punches the referee in the face and
wait for the shocking swerve. Look, it's like oh, didn't see that coming. It's like
right. And I think just so the audience knows, as far as like how I keep letting Justin do the rundowns, I'm letting Justin do the rundowns, give him front and center, because he works his butt off. to do all the notes and everything. So I let him get front and center, and then I just come in and just do, and then we discuss the shows. So that's kind of how we're going to do the show going forward. I know I just said this now, but I'm still want to give my props to my co-host
I
here.
appreciate it.
So Justin, take it away for Collision plus Dynamite.
All right, so let's go over AEW happenings. Not too much happened on Rampage. The only major thing that happened on Rampage that I want to note is the build toward this Santana Ortiz feud is people really need to keep their eyes on this, because the promos that these two are cutting, leading to them having a match, is fantastic stuff. That was like one of the few highlights on Rampage that I wanted to point out. As far as Collision, a couple things happened that was kind of noteworthy. They continued the whole angle with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. They had a confrontation. Words were exchanged. It also led to Bryan Danielson and FTR coming out, and also Ricky Starks and Big Bill getting involved. So there was a lot of angle development going on all over the place there, which was leading to Danielson versus Cage for the TNT title, the main event. CJ Perry, the hot flexible wife of Miro, is looking to manage someone. Action Andretti showed he was interested. Well, Miro didn't appreciate that, and he beat the living crap out of Action Andretti later in the show, because apparently he doesn't want anyone near his hot flexible wife, even though he doesn't want to be near her right now. So if he can't have her, no one else can, apparently. Well, so we'll see where that goes. And then, of course, Bryan Danielson and Christian Cage delivered in the main event. They had a fantastic TV match for the TNT title. Big Bill and Ricky Starks lent some assistance, and there was a rough distraction, and Ricky Starks, continuing his issues and kind of a little feud with Danielson, ran in and whacked Danielson in the back of the head with his tag title belt, allowing Christian Cage to remain the champion. Starks, Bill, and Team Christian started doing a 5-1 beatdown on Danielson afterwards, which led to FTR and Adam running down to make the save to end the show. So that led us to Dynamite last night. Jay White opened the show against Penta. They had a really good match. Jay White won, and then afterwards they cut a bit of a promo. Jay White spoke about his upcoming title match with MJF at the pay-per-view coming up, and then Juice took over and cut a promo promising that he was going to win the Battle Royal later that night, and then go on to beat MJF for the Diamond Ring, and he was going to pawn it off to spite him. That led to MJF offering a rebuttal backstage, and once again, Max Caster came up and offered the assistance of the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn in his feud with Jay White and Bullet Club Gold, but Max once again turned him down, and Bones saying that he's still coming off 2 off strong, which led to a funny moment where Billy Gunn was like, he is a scumbag, isn't he? And Max Caster, yeah, but he's my scumbag, which he's everybody's scumbag right now. Then Hikaru Shida faced off against her mentor, Emi Sakura, for the AEW Women's title. Had a good match. Shida won. Good stuff. Wish they had a little bit more time, but it's nice that they gave it at least in the first hour show instead of where they usually stick the women's matches. So it was a little bit of a change. Also, women's related once again. Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm. Oh, she's timeless. She absolutely killed again. She had another little mini silent movie that was on during the picture break, but at least this time it had like on old silent movies card showing what the dialogue is, so you kind of could be able to follow along better, even though it was picture in picture. So RJ City, she recruited RJ City for her next little mini movie here. Good stuff. This character work from Tony's killing it, man. It's like, please put her and Shida into a title program as soon as possible. It's that just give it to me. We had another pre-tape segment. Adam Cole still trapped in Roderick Strong's house with the Kingdom. Roderick Strong keep coming up with things for Cole to do as favors, but more like slave labor. he tried to make PBJs for them to make it happy, but Strong was like, you didn't cut off the crust. You know I hate the crust, and bitching and moaning. And finally, Cole had enough of Roddy's bullshit and said that and finally escaped the Strong household to go have his surgery and get the hell out of there. And after he left, Strong told the Kingdom that looks like the only way he's going to be able to win Cole's trust back is to be nice with the scumbag MJF. So we're going to see where that's going to lead next. Very funny stuff. Nice way to give Cole stuff to do, even though he's not going to be able to wrestle for a bit with the injury. Then Don Callis family came out for promo time and got, of course, mega heat. Oh, man. It's like Don Callis is one of the people that gets the most heat these days. It's incredible. Powerhouse Hobbs had a nice little promo time saying that how Jericho dissed him and his grandma 25 years ago when he was a little fan, and he's been waiting for an opportunity to pay him back, and he enjoyed wrecking Jericho last week. Callis declared that Powerhouse Hobbs was the wrecking machine for the Callis family, and that he was not happy with the work of Mr. Fletcher, one half of Aussie Open, saying that he's let them down. He came out to object, saying, "Hey, look, I'm trying to do you a favor via Will Ospreay. Ospreay told me to come help you out as a favor, so it's like you should be a little more grateful." And Callis was like, "Okay, well, see, we'll talk if you can be able to beat Kenny Omega tonight." And unfortunately for Fletcher, he could not beat Kenny Omega. They had a hell of a TV match, though. But Kenny emerged victorious, much to Don Callis' disgust. So now Fletcher is really in the doghouse with Callis. So we'll see if that leads to anything. There was a cute, interesting little moment that I didn't realize that that finally was pointed out online. MGF and Kenny Omega had a little interaction backstage, and MGF whispered in his ear, 13 days, bitch. Which I didn't understand, but it turns out that's a reference to the fact that in 13 days, MGF will surpass Kenny Omega's reign and be the longest reigning AEW World Champion in the company's history. So that's what that was about. Kenny and MJF really haven't had a one-on-one either, so that's a very interesting tease as well. So there was a pre-tape promo with Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. Swerve, despite the fact that he's got a single from his album coming up, tomorrow is going to be the debut of the music video for that. He said that he should be happy, but he's not, because Hangman stuck his nose again in his business and screwed him over last week. And so he's promised Hangman that there will be payback, but others will suffer the consequences of your actions. So very interesting to see who he's going to target to pay Hangman back for that. We'll shall see. So that feud continues to heat up. We had some squashes. Wardlow squashed a jobber, powerbombed him into next year. Tony Schiavone said, "Hey, Wardlow, what's your plan?" And then he pointed to what people pointed out last week, that he's got MGF on his wrists, pointed to that, and then shoved Tony out of the way before he left the ring to a little bit of heel heat. So we got another person gunning for MJF. Lance Archer returned out of from Purgatory and got to squash a jobber. Wish they really would do something with Lance Archer. He feels like one of the people that should have gotten pushed to the moon, but due to injuries and other things, that didn't happen. So we'll see if he gets to be able to get any kind of significant thing here. So we'll see. But it was nice to see him on TV. One of the few negatives on the show was, unfortunately, JR conducting an interview between Nick Wayne and his mom. Nick Wayne, it's like, look, his mom is definitely, not, doing it. She's not a professional actor. She's not in the business. But Nick Wayne didn't do himself any favors. This came off not very good. It was finally saved when Christian showed up and started talking trash, which led to her slapping Nick. And Nick was like, "All right, Mom, you're dead to me now. Christian is the father, only father and family I need." And as they went to leave, Darby Allin jumped them, and that led to a big brawl with Sting getting involved as well to help him out when Luchasaurus when he was outnumbered 3-1 with Luchasaurus helping. So Darby is not done with the Team Christian Cage either. That led to Sting going into the ring to cut a promo about his career, announcing that he intends to retire and that his final match will be at AEW Revolution 2024 to mirror the fact that his first match with AEW was at Revolution 2021, so for symmetry. And then we had the main event, the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. 12 guys, whoever won the Battle Royal would face MGF for the Diamond Ring next week on Dynamite. And as has been heavily telegraphed, I mean, like Juice has been talking about this for weeks now, and no surprise that he ended up winning the Battle Royal. It got down. There's some storyline advancement. The dissension between the former JS, Daddy Magic is not happy with Dana Garcia's dancing. Dustin Rhodes came back, did some good stuff. It was down to Max Caster of all people against Juice, and MGF was on commentary. Jay White came out of nowhere and attacked MGF at the announce table, and they brawled at the top of the ramp. Caster distracted Caster enough, but he's concerned about Max, especially after Jay White gave him a ball shot. That allowed Juice to pull his own little ring out of his pants and clock Caster with it and knock him silly and allow him to easily dump him over the top rope to win the Battle Royal and get MGF one-on-one next week. And I think he's going to beat MGF next week to win the Diamond Ring because that's going to help advance the whole storyline. It'll probably be as Volta Shenanigans. It won't be a clean win. So pretty much overall, a pretty a good solid episode of Dynamite. Like I said, the only negative I had for the show was the Nick Wayne interview. That was Nick needs to work on his talking skills, man.
You can tell he's just turned 18, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like it's like a lot of people are commenting like, "Oh, that was brutal."
Not everyone's MJF out the womb.
Thankfully, Christian came in with being his usual awesome to help save that segment.
Okay. A couple things that stuck out. Obviously, the collision encounter with Ricky Starks and Edge Edge. I'm still calling Edge. Oh, who cares? We don't care. With Ricky Starks, Edge, and Bryan Danielson. And that was, if you didn't think Ricky Starks could hold his own, dude was just throwing haymakers in which they were kind of going off script apparently, and then Edge was just like, I didn't like the way Ricky did that. I'm like, welcome to AEW, dude. This is kind of how it works.
Exactly. Gotta get used to it, man.
Because if you fired him, he's gonna fire back. I mean, John Cena tried to bury Roman. Roman didn't like it. The Rock didn't like it. The fact that John Cena called him out. So it's like it happens in both companies, people. The fact that I saw that and be like, this is what AEW sucks. I'm like, no, it happens with both companies. It's just the fact of, hey, you're gonna buck up and get better.
Yeah.
Even though it's Edge, and I understand he's like, why are you trying to combat me? Like, no, you win at him. That's how promo works. If you've not watched boxing ever, they don't pull punches, all pun intended, on that. Still, the freaking the Golden Bullet Club. I mean, the Bullet Club Gold.
Bullet Club Gold is gold. Period.
They're the Bang Bang Club. Everything.
I love how they even got like the title bout on the cardboard.
Oh, on the cardboard. Yeah, it's so freaking good. The fact, and
they're getting heat, man.
Yeah, and they repackaged Wardlow. He's working well, even though he beat like the cousin of the of the Young Bucks. Kind of looked like, I was like, is that Nick Jackson at first? Because
they're doing the right thing. He's destroying jobbers to show that how dangerous he is. Like we're saying, it's like. He's got Jay White and Bullet Club Gold coming for him. MJF wants to come for him. It's like there's more than one people who got issues with MJF and want their hands on the world title. So, which is a good thing because he's the world champion.
Sorry, I mixed up the Murder Hawk. The jobber that he beat looked like looked like the Young Bucks. Sorry, but yeah, they both just took down other people.
You think Swerve's gonna go after like the Young Bucks or something? Is payback for Hangman?
I don't know, but
him going after Kenny makes no sense because Kenny's kind of like Kenny's focused on his feud with Don Callis family. So Swerve going after him would not make any sense. I think he's probably going to go after the Young Bucks. Probably.
All I'm saying is Tony is in his pocket with Swerve right now, as far as how he's booking them and just everything. I'm just I tune into AEW.
That man to the moon, man.
Yeah, just like there's always those segments you like. There's always those wrestlers and those performers that you tune in to a show to watch. I tune into AEW to see where are they going to go with Swerve here. just because he's got the package that you would want. I'm just totally, like I said, I want him to be the first African American AEW champion, because if you ain't putting other than Powerhouse Hobbs, which Swerve is, Powerhouse Hobbs is great, but Swerve is over my video feed right now compared to Hobbs. And Hobbs is what they're doing with Hobbs, right? That's why I'm liking AEW.
Putting him with Don Callis was the best thing for Hobbs, because Hobbs is decent on the mic, but now he's got Callis helping speak for him, which also is going to help him get more heat. So
I don't know what's going on.
And also kudos to Jericho for not being on the show to sell what Hobbs did to him last week. Yes. That's good stuff.
And is it me, because the past two, from last week to this week, from Dynamite Collision to Dynamite, and maybe not really since Edge got on the show, but these past three, not Rampage, because Rampage is Rampage, but Dynamite to Collision to Dynamite, is it looking like they're who is in Tony's ear, because those three shows actually like make sense.
There's continuity flow going on,
right? Because they haven't done that in like the past 8 months.
Yeah,
where it's like, here's this match, here's this match, here's this, which is great, but that's an indie card. This isn't a professional wrestling show. That is a house show, and they've been doing that, and they would jump from storyline to storyline and stuff. And I understand injuries happen, but now we're actually getting like, okay, here's this storyline, and it keeps going. It's just not, oh, I jump out, I want to challenge you, and then the next week someone else, we just book a match, which is fine. I mean, the Shida match with Emi Sakura, that's the only thing. It's like, again, their women's division, they're getting there because Toni Storm's really good. Shida, they're finally booking her, and I'm hoping they're consistent.
I think Britt is off TV to help. I think being is probably to help take care of Adam. Probably is helping him, which is why she's. And
they're doing with Adam Cole. They're doing what they used to do with like the Stone Colds and stuff, like, or the Randy Ortons. It's like, we still need to get them on TV.
Yeah,
even with their injury.
The whole like Misery-esque situation at Roddy's house with Cole was a clever idea to have him on TV. So obviously he's probably gonna be on TV after he has his surgery and stuff like that. We understand that, but at least they're keeping him on TV as long as they can. And then once he has his surgery, so probably about like maybe a week and a half or whatever, they probably have a couple of vignettes while he's getting his surgery, and so you can film that. You can film like multiple vignettes to keep him prevalent on the show. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there. But what they're doing right now, storytelling, I'm like, Tony, whoever is helping you write these things, keep them in your ear, because this is the most continuity I've seen in quite some time as far as stories, and then letting people wrestle. And if you didn't realize that Kenny Omega is really good, I haven't seen it. This is the first single match we've had on TV with Kenny Omega in quite some time. Yeah, it's like him and Fletcher had a hell of a TV match. It's like,
and that has something to do with the fact that Kenny has been hurt for like the past 5 years, and just been able to strive through it. And he had a surgery, so that's why they kept putting him in trios and stuff like that, because trios and tag matches and stuff like that, you don't have to go full bore like a singles match. This is the first time we've seen Kenny do a singles match not named Will Ospreay or something on pay-per-view.
Also, shout out to poor Sammy Guevara. He got a concussion at WrestleDream. He's still out. Hopefully he'll be back soon. That's why he has not been with the Dog Chaos family lately. He's home recovering from a concussion.
Okay, thank you for that. I was wondering. That was my next question. I was like, where's Sammy been? Because
he tweeted out about like, he goes like, I got concussed at WrestleDream. I was hoping to be back this week, but I'm not cleared yet. So hopefully soon, he said.
But yeah, overall, AEW is going in the direction that we were
going in a better direction. Finally, it's
finally getting understanding.
Yeah,
and they're again, what, like I said, from that NXT AEW war till now, that is the best shows to shows.
Yeah,
as far as two different companies putting on solid storyline to wrestling matches.
Good consistency.
Good consistency that I've do you remember the last time we've had that much consistency between two?
No, it's been a bit.
Maybe since 1996, maybe, and even that was kind of all over the place.
It's like we're gonna have to go over NXT real quick because I gotta leave here in a couple minutes. Here I got for work, so I'll just go over NXT super quick here. The major highlights for NXT was that there was a tag team battle royal, bada bing, because of the family. Winner would face the family for the tag titles of Halloween Havoc. Came down to Chase U versus Los Lotharios, and who kind of screwed the Creed brothers over because they got eliminated, but then they eliminated the Creed brothers behind the ref's back, and they didn't see it, kind of that little shenanigans. So they paid back to distract Los Lotharios, giving Chase U the win. So Chase U gets the tag title shot. Good for them. I like Chase U. There's a big promo between Carmelo Hayes, D-Jack, and Baron Corbin about who's going to win the number contender match to face Ilya Dragunov at Halloween Havoc. Ilya showed up and said that and revealed that before Cody left as GM last week, he added Trick Williams into the match to make it a fatal four-way. Melo was not happy about this development, very visibly, and the heels went after him about it, but he tried to play it off. Now, unfortunately, for Trick, something happened later. Him and Melo talked things out, said that things are cool between them, even though Melo wasn't happy that, he didn't tell him about this. Someone attacked Trick Williams in the back, taking him out of the match, so it went back to being a triple threat. The women's breakout tournament continued. The one who stood out to me was Ariana Grace, kind of like with a beauty queen gimmick. She kind of like caught my eye. The other woman, not so sure about yet, but we'll see. Lyra Valkyria beat Tegan Nox because while Natty was in her corner, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven showed up and attacked, causing Tegan to get distracted enough for Lyra Valkyria to hit her with her finisher and win the match. Lyra cut a really nice promo about facing Becky for the NXT title. Becky appeared on the Tron to respond. Really good stuff between the two of them. Looking forward to their match because I'm a big fan of Lyra's. I think she's got potential to be a hell of a star. Speaking of stars, Tiffany Stratton continuing to annoy people in the back. It looks like her and Fallon Henley are going to get into a match sooner or later. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Great nod to the old Halloween Havoc. Came back for this year's Halloween Havoc edition. And it was spun twice, both related to the women's division. Gigi Dolan is getting a lights out match with Blair Davenport, who she's been feuding with lately. And Roxanne Perez is going to get a Devil's Playground match against Kiana James. So those are going to be very interesting matches for the women. Looking forward to both of them. Really pulling for both Gigi and Roxanne to shine. Then we had a little thing. Von Wagner is still recovering from his attack by Braun Breaker. His manager, Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, got in Braun Breaker's face about it and said more than he should, which led to him having a match with Braun Breaker at Halloween Havoc. God have mercy on Roger Stone's soul, because someone's got to intervene. Probably most likely Von Wagner, or else Braun's going to kill him and send him to the hospital. And then Shotzi took on Kiana James as well in a one-on-one match, and Roxanne showed up to prevent Kiana from cheating, allowing Shotzi to win. And then in the main event, Melo won the three-way match between him, Baron Corbin, and DJ to face Ilya Dragunov. So Melo Dragunov 3 is going to happen at Halloween Havoc night number 2. So it was kind of like they're playing up. It's like they're kind of making you wonder: is Melo really okay with Trick being inserted? Did Melo have something to do with Trick getting attacked and taken out of the match? We shall see. Or else someone's trying to make it look like Melo may have been responsible. We'll see how that plays out. But saw the episode of NXT building toward the Halloween Havoc 2-week event. Lots of fun matches set up for both shows. Really cool title matches and some gimmick matches for the women's. Well, women's division gets a great focus on NXT because it's like they're loaded down there, and a lot of cool feuds going on there, like the Gigi Dolan, Blair Davenport, and Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, leading to some interesting stipulation matches for the show. So,
well, Gigi and Blair have been going on forever.
Yeah, that's been building. That's been going on for several weeks.
It's like the female DIY when it comes to
So hopefully, it's been a while since Gigi's won a feud. So hopefully, I like Blair Davenport, but I think Gigi definitely needs, if they want to really elevate her, she needs to win this lights out match. I'm not worried. Roxanne Perez is going to get her revenge on Kiana James in this Devil's Playground match.
She better. She's better.
I know.
So two questions for me before we wrap up. As far as but thank you for doing rundowns. Number one, is Trick more over than Mello? That's the internet saying.
Yeah, he's really over right now. It's happened within the last couple weeks. The fans really like Trick, man. I don't know if he's more popular than Mello, but he's kind of like on Mello's popularity level, which makes things very interesting. It's very interesting to see if Mello is going to turn on him completely, or they're kind of just teasing it, and someone's trying to break them apart from behind the scenes. It could go either way.
It's got that Shawn Michaels Triple H like, who did this? It was me. But anyway, and then the second thing is, what's going to be the best? What do you think is going to be the best match on Halloween Havoc? Not with Roxanne Perez involved, because obviously it's going to be.
I think Dragunov Mello 3 is going to deliver, and I also think Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria is definitely going to be a hell of a match. They've been building this for quite a while. Lyra is she looks up to Becky. She's like her idol, who inspired her. She helped train her in the past. They know each other, so there's a lot of. They did a good job with the hype package, showing like Becky training with her and mentoring her a couple years back, showing their relationship. So it's definitely it's the student versus the master kind of situation. And I don't know if Lyra's going to win, but I think she's going to. This is another chance for someone to get a good shine, and I think she's going to get that, because I think she's definitely come a long way. I wasn't too impressed with Lyra when she first came into NXT last year, but she's really won me over with her in-ring work. Her promo work is definitely getting better. I liked what she did this week, and the stuff she said. And Becky's always good on the mic, so I'm excited for that match.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The obviously the easiest answer was it's Roxanne Perez going to have the best match. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's just bias.
I know you're going to be watching that. You're going to be looking forward to Roxanne versus Kiana James, Devil's Playground.
I'm literally going to like.
I can't wait to see I can't wait to see how hardcore Roxanne's going to get on Kiana.
Roxanne will definitely be the first female wrestler shirt I've ever bought. I don't know, just she reminds me. Like I said, I'm a big stan for Roxanne Perez. I think she just has the total package.
She's going to be a star. Between her, Tiffany. I think Lyra Valkyria is another one, and Nikita Lyons, who unfortunately has been out injured for a while. I think Nikita Lyons also has a lot of potential.
Nikita she's athletically ridiculous, and she has a really good look. And plus, she's got some stuff. But no, I've obviously gravitated towards Roxanne because like she gives me that AJ Lee feel. And then I saw Tiffany because Tiffany was like, the blonde hair, blah blah blah. And then I saw her wrestle.
Also, she's one of Booker T's kids, which is plus.
Yeah, and so like I've always gravitated towards her. So that's the only reason I watched NXT was because of Roxanne. And then you were telling me about Tiffany, and then I watched Tiffany, especially against Becky, and I'm like, oh yeah, she could be number 1 PWI next year.
Oh, and one more thing before we go. I saw this earlier. I forgot to mention it. Tiffany had this really cool like Barbie like entrance at No Mercy for her match against Becky. That was Becky's idea. It's like that shows you the kind of mind that Becky has for the business. And Tiffany was like, she said, oh, it's like Becky came up with the idea and presented it to me. I'm like, oh God, that's awesome. She said Becky's like full of great ideas. So shout out to Becky for giving Tiffany a really cool entrance at the pay-per-view.
And one last thing, yes, Fighting with the Family is a great movie, and Wrestler.
Yeah,
Wrestler's really good.
Gotta
get our review in. We gotta get our review in.
We gotta watch the OVW series with we need to check that out and give our thoughts on that in the near future. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
Yeah.
But Fighting with My Family is awesome.
Fighting with the Family is amazing. That's the first Florence Pugh movie with her in it, at least, that I was like, oh, this girl's got some stuff. Anyway, Justin, thank you so much for your rundowns.
Thank you.
I think for our viewers, I know that's kept up with us. Thank you so much. I think this is what we're going to do. We're just going to let Justin do his rundowns. He works so much on them. And then we just do our little banter about inside baseball and all other fun stuff on top of it. But yes, thank you for everyone watching and stuff that goes
Yep.
on this journey with us.
Appreciate it.
Sure to subscribe. Patreon.com/RuckusEV. And like Bobby Burger says, join the rocket ship. But thank you so much, Justin.
Yes.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we will see you all next time.